Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamie, a homeschooling mama to 5 kiddos. I have a 7th grader, a 6th grader, a 1st grader, a 3-year-old, and a baby. Today is Tuesday, so it is Tip Tuesday, and today I want to talk to you guys about how to turn a book into a unit study. If you've been following me for very long, you know that I absolutely love beautiful books and literature. So I'm going to talk to you about some different tips and tricks you can do to simply turn one book into a unit study. And I'm actually going to give you an example of some books that we are reading right now and how I'm using this to make a unit study. So it doesn't matter if it's a picture book, it doesn't matter if it's a chapter book, you can easily turn it into a learning adventure for your kiddos. I'm actually going to be showing you how I do this over many different ages and grades. So tip 1 is to start with the setting of a book. So you pick whatever book. So I'm going to give you an example, and I do use Beautiful Feet books, and that's where I get like my spine books from, and then I kind of spiral from that and figure out what I'm going to do with each of my kiddos. So for Beautiful Feet book, we're in Africa. That's our main overarching unit study, I guess. And right now we are reading The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. So the first thing is look at the story and see where it takes place. Is it a different country? Is it in a forest? Is it in outer space? You're going to use that to pull and try to get some topics. So pull a map out, get a globe, get an atlas, get anything you need. So what I'm using, I have my big map over there in the classroom section, but what I'm also using is Africa, Amazing Africa, and this actually goes through and shows you each of the countries and gives you a little bit. I also have this book called Nations, and it's the same concept. It goes through every country, but it is like a little bit geared toward older kids, whereas this book is geared kind of for younger kids. And I was just going to kind of show you just an example of what it looks like inside. So as you can see, so this kind of goes through all the countries, so we can actually look into this book and use it as well. So that's how you're bringing in that geography just from the setting of one book. So we're using this book right now. So you can explore geography, you can explore the culture, you can even explore the biomes that are in that setting, which is also what we're doing. So in this book right here, we're reading this. It's The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, and our setting is in Mali, and then the biome for that is the African savanna. So I took this one book, and I do have it in picture book form too. So I have this for my older boys, which my 1st grader is actually sitting and listening to this entire book with us as we do it. But I also have this for him, which is just like a little kid version of the same thing. And it's like a little photo book. So this is my main spine that I'm using. And then I've thrown in this book, and I have our big map over there, and then it brings us to the biome. So we're learning about the savannah. So what I've done for it is I have brought in this book. I love these books. If you've never looked into these are awesome. They're called One Small Square. This one is the African savanna, but there is like 12 of these all together. I'm going to just give you an example of like what it looks like. So it goes over everything, and we are talking about the migration. It goes through grasses, and it gives you activities to do with it, almost like science experiments. So that's kind of helpful. So if you want to add in your science as well. So for this book, we are adding in some science for this. We are using it where we're talking about energy and the sun and solar energy, and we're talking about erosion and how that affects your farmland. So that kind of brings me to step 1. So step 1, look at your setting. Step 2, pull out all the themes. So that's kind of what I'm showing you right now. So you say, what is this book about? Is it about perseverance? Is it about friendship? Is it about nature? Is it about community? Is it about maybe something that's going on in the world? Like this one talks a lot about erosion, and it has perseverance in it for sure, but it also talks about like erosion in this community and how they're going through a famine and a drought and how it kind of falls apart, and the government's not there really helping them too much. There is a little bit of government helping them, but at the same time they're like trying to buy meal, and people are grinding up sawdust to give them instead of giving them the actual meal that they need so that they can eat. So it's very good read. So you're going to pull out these themes, and you're going to do discussion questions. You're going to do writing prompts, whatever you want to do to go along with that book. So that's really a simple way to integrate writing, and then you have that literature where you're doing the discussions. You can also find the related picture books, which is kind of like what I'm showing you right here with this one and with the Savannah. And then if you see my like peek in a week of what I'm doing with my kiddos, you can see that I actually pulled this in for my first grader, and it kind of talks about like the animals that you would kind of see out in the Savannah. So you are just going to add in anything. You can also add in poetry. You could add in nonfiction text. You can add in any other kind of books to just hit on your theme. Next is add hands-on connections. So this is really important when you're doing this. One thing that I told you in our peak of a week is we are actually going to make a solar power tower this week. If we don't get to it this week, we're going to be doing it next week for sure. So you want to add in any type of hands-on projects that you can add in. So think of science experiments. Anything that connects you to the story. For example, like the solar power tower. So if a book mentions gardening, plant seeds with your kiddos. If it talks about stars, do an astronomy activity outside in the evening. Kids remember stories so much more if you connect with it with something hands-on. So something that my kids have been doing as I'm reading this book to them this week, they have been coloring out these little things, and today they finished them. They made little trioramas. Yeah, that's what they're called. They made trioramas of the Savannah. So this is something that they did finish today, and then we'll move on to another activity that I get them as I read. So we have start with the setting, pull out the themes, and add hands-on connections. The next thing is extend the research. For older kids, encourage them to dig deeper. Get them to do a project or do something to go along with the literature, like create a different book jacket or research the area. Get them to do like a country a research project. You can just pick one topic from the book and maybe make them do something, or a historical event that's taking place, or an invention, like this is going to talk about the windmill, or maybe an animal. So for my first grader, I could actually have him research an animal that you would see in the Savannah, and let them do little mini research projects or a little mini presentation. This turns your read aloud into like a real world learning. I'm just trying to show you real quick how I also use, what other things I use. So I do use the Wonders Working of Planet Earth. This goes into the different biomes, so it works out perfect. It actually has one for the Savannah. Yeah. So this is, again, a book that I've been using. And I've also been using the Junk Drawer Ecology. This book also helps me. It comes up with a lot of different awesome science experiments and things that you can do and make. And now I'm going to show you how I even integrate my 3-year-old with this. So this book, we have been doing this book with my 3-year-old. It says we all went on safari. He loves this story. I've been reading it to him. And so one thing that we did one day was we just read it. And then I have these sandpaper numbers. And he had to actually go through, and I had them all laid out, and he had to find the matching number. And then he had to trace it with his finger. So that's one thing that we did. Another thing that we did one day was as we read it, I had all the animals out, and I made him find the animal and then match it. So that's another way that you can do it. And we talked about the animals as we read it. Another thing that we did that kind of relates but doesn't use the book is we actually took the numbers and we took all of his African animals that he has, which he has a lot, and I would lay a number down and he would have to count out that many animals and lay them out. So those are just some ways that you can even add in the littlest of kids, which is for me right now is my 3-year-old. You could easily have, he also is doing a triorama. He is just coloring the things and then he likes to glue them in. His is not complete though yet. So you can always add in your younger kids as well. So in closing, this is my tip Tuesday for today. Start with the setting, pull out all your things that you want to talk about, add your hands-on activities and connections, and extend with that research. So one book can actually become a whole unit study. If you found this helpful, give me a thumbs up, hit that little subscribe button and the bell so you get all the notifications, and let me know in the comments what books you have turned into a unit study or what book you would love to turn into a unit study. And thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Happy homeschooling.